Today we look at two mid-range processors that are on the market competing with each other, and we will try to answer the question, which one should you buy? Both processors today are 6-core and 12 threads. First up is the Intel 10400F coming in at £135, and the opponent is the Ryzen 3600 coming in at £180. For our tests we will be using the same graphics card, which is the ASUS ROG STRIX RTX 2070 8GB overclock version with 16GB of RAM to make the test fair. The resolution we are using is 1080p, and all the tests are run using the high preset. In our first game, Call of Duty Warzone, we see that the 10400F beats the Ryzen 3600 by 17 frames per second on average frame rates. Already the 10400F looks to be a great bang for the buck processor, giving more performance for less cost than the Ryzen 3600. In our second test, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, we see that the 10400 again beats the Ryzen chip here by 9 frames per second, which again is surprising for a cheaper chip. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is a more graphically demanding game, so we expect to see little difference here. The third game test today is Fortnite, which saw a big gap yet again, at 13 frames per second difference. As this game is CPU intensive, we would expect the more expensive Ryzen to come out on top, but the Intel chip is very efficient and is looking great value here. The downside is, of course, is the expensive motherboards that the Intel chips need, where you can get a cheaper AM4 motherboard, which is using the A520 or B450 chipset, and that board would still perform great. We are using an expensive Z490 motherboard here, so you would need to spend the extra money on a better Intel board, as the B460 chipset just isn't going to be good enough. The fourth game today tested is Division 2, which saw a very small 4 frames per second difference. So again here, the more graphically demanding games, the Ryzen closes the gap. The fifth game today is Red Dead Redemption 2, which only saw 5 frames per second again. So here, again, with a more graphically demanding game, the Ryzen closes the gap again. The sixth game, Rainbow Six Siege, sees us tied again at only 1 frames per second difference. As this is an older title, we wouldn't expect to see much difference here. The seventh game tested is F1019, which saw a massive 25 frames per second difference, which is the biggest difference yet in the test. At this point we can see that the 10400F, if paired with a good Z490 motherboard, is certainly looking the better option, as you would also get support for the next generation of Intel chips using the Z490 motherboard, so the extra money could be a good long-term investment here. The last game, Borderlands III, sees us again tie here, so again with an older game we can see that both chips are more than capable of holding up in 2021. Overall I'd say that the 10400F is the processor to get, providing you can get a good deal on a Z490 motherboard. If you can find the Ryzen chip to nearer to £150, then I would say get the Ryzen chip, but at £180 it's very hard to recommend. If you like the video, please like, comment and subscribe, and thanks for watching.